Hey, Professor. Just finished up the documentary about the Vignellis, and I just wanted to post my thoughts about it. This documentary was about the Italian designer Massimo and his wife Lella, and they're just, talking about everything they've dabbled in for the graphic design community, and it was pretty interesting to kind of see just a spotlight on him as an individual, versus just a few interviews that we've seen before in the other documentary in class about Helvetica. And it just kind of sheds a little bit more light on his approach to graphic design, where, he mainly focuses on doing his work based on a grid system. And it kind of just reflects as how he learned before computers and softwares were available to designers, where they had to do everything by hand and rulers. And so that kind of stuck with him, and also kind of led him to be who he is now as the famous graphic designer. So the reason why he chooses to continue using grids is that it gives consistency to his work, and it carries on an expression of work. Massimo had mentioned the three different aspects that he felt were most important in his work, and that was the somatic aspect, the pragmatic aspect, and the synthetical aspect. So in the somatic aspect, he mentioned that it was meant for meaning, that whatever he was working on had to have a purpose. And synthetical was the consistency in every element that he was committing to do. And so that kind of goes on along the lines of like the typefaces, where he only stuck with certain ones throughout his work, and that were more noticeable and recognizable for his name. And for serif fonts, they were like Garamond, Bodoni, Times New Roman. And for sans serif, it was Helvetica, Universe, and Futura. And that is seen for that aspect. And the pragmatic aspect was that if the viewer did not understand, then you were off target. That's what he said for that. And the majority of the work needed to be timeless and had a lasting impact on the community, and also cherished elegant intellectuality. Let me see. Okay, so that was more so for his main design theories that he went by for his work, and what he felt were most important to establish. Let me see. So the Vignellis really touched on a lot of things. They weren't just graphic designers. They were interior designers. They messed with glass fixtures, lighting designs, silver flatware designs, and jewelry and watches. And so they were just everywhere in the design aspect. They loved minimalist and modern designs. Let me see. And Massimo was very interested in always learning how a design aspect would collaborate with the craft and the building of his designs. And so he loved to see it when it all came together. And so when he designed watches, he wanted the design to have individuality and functionality. And those are some of the things that he practiced in a lot of his designs. And just in general for the two couple, they were a great duo. They were like the yin and yang. Layla, she was the more sensible and of the duo, and she always brought the ideas back to reality. That's what they quoted on for her. And Massimo was like the dreamer, and he was the one who was always creative and imaginative to his designs and just coming up with so many ideas. And Layla would just bring it to a practical sense. And from other interviews in the documentary, a lot of people said that they complemented each other very well, that they were always collaborating with ideas with their clients, and they always seemed to come up with a different approach. And their partnership was just another trust and judgment. Let me see. So, throughout the whole documentary, Massimo really wanted the viewers to know that design has a purpose, and that it deserves to be legible and be comfortable and to have function. And yeah, and that he bridged architecture and design. Yeah, that's about it. Pretty good documentary.